Guys, welcome back to another episode of the pod. It's Gio here.
Mario, we're back. We don't have a guest today. We've been having kind of a hard time getting guests on the podcast just because it's so recent. So, and our network is big, but it's kind of hard to get every guest we want, like, on their certain schedule.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine like a page that kind of looks fake hitting you up. It just has a couple of reels and like just imagine how you would feel, You'd be like, who is this? That's probably a scam.
People might not get it yet. That's why. Even us, we've had a hard time finding out exactly where we're going to fit in, but I think the whole point is to just try it, We've been kind of winging it.
Yeah, no, honestly though, from taking that first step, I feel like that was the major thing to do, to just go ahead and try it. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who maybe think about it, but don't like take the first step or don't start doing their research on how to do it. So, hey, at least we got it off the ground, right? Even if it's not taking off, but here we are.
Yeah, we didn't do that much research, which maybe we should have, but we do try to have our conversations organically. Even sometimes when we're up at the treehouse, we be having the best conversations ever. Like, now we even have to get to the point of recording,
Yeah, and like it's weird because you talk naturally, and up to that point, you're like, all right, hold on, I'm gonna record it, and then like something a little bit changes.
Exactly, and what you were mentioning is that let's just try not to lose that, or like us talking organically, because at the same time we have a lot of fun, like just talking between me and you, and I feel like a lot of people would compare, even our age,
Yeah, but I also feel like it's a little bit hard, like I said, just because I feel like there's like a little trigger. You turn the camera on and something about you changes. Not saying you, but like something about you changes.
What do you feel like you're being viewed?
I don't know if it's that, or it's just that maybe I've never been like a person to be on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's not really like taking selfies everywhere they go and like posting this and posting that. I feel like that was the hardest thing, and translating that like organically, the real conversations that you have like not recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that was difficult for me, like I said, because like now I'm being recorded and like people can judge you like on what you say, how you look on camera. And it's funny because we have guests sometimes, and I'm just trying to listen, and like not barge in and not trying to cut them off. Just let it flow however it's going. If they're talking to you, I'm like, all right, they're talking to you,
The past episodes, I think we've done kind of good, though, in that dynamic, in the point of like, hey, let's just focus like on our guest and then have people like listen in to the whole conversation. The point is for people to listen into our conversation because, hey, maybe there are similarities in the way we think, or like certain ideas just resonates towards people.
Yeah, and like I feel like that was like the original idea of everything, kind of like record those organic conversations so that maybe somebody who's listening or somebody who can relate to it can learn something from it, or I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Just tune in, maybe listen to it on the car ride or something like that. Yeah,
exactly. And let me like just start it off because like I've been dying to like just like talk to you all day.
All right, you can go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm just checking the volume.
Well, let me like. Can I tell you how I'm feeling?
Yeah, for sure. How are you feeling today?
Well, lately, I've been like a little numb, honestly. Like, I feel we're not moving forward with like the business. I feel like stuck where I'm at. Am I not doing enough? I sometimes like ask myself. And it's just been rough. I don't know why. I feel like the loneliness or being alone, like it's getting to me.
You've never been alone?
It's
like
not that
long periods of time?
No, I think I have been alone, but just the pain that, like, for example, I'm feeling right now, it's just kind of weird to feel.
Why? And how long haven't you felt that?
I feel like I'm a teenager again. Like,
You feel like you're a teenager?
yeah.
And I feel like that's just how a relationship goes. You know, like at some point I felt like the heartbreak. You're like your life is over. Like you feel it in your chest. You know, it's like a little feeling that's like inside. And like I can relate to it because I can remember it very clearly from when I was like 15. I'm 23 now, and like I think about it, I'm like, yeah.
What did you
I could
feel?
relate to that. It's like a little thing in your chest. I can't really like explain it. There's just like a little, like when you're really hurting and it's like recent. If you went through something, it's like, you know, like you could feel it there. It's, how do I say it? It's pronounced, or it's very real. Even though it's like a little tingly feeling, like hurt, you know. So I can relate. I like to what you're saying, to how you're feeling.
Yeah, and that pain kind of like still motivates me to like want to move forward and like just like go harder. Like today at the gym, I was like, man, I'm about to work out like so hard, do this, like to feel something, to feel some like pain, just so I can get over some things. Like my mentor was telling me today, my mentor is great. He was just like, hey man, you can't change anything about that. If like everybody's responsible for themselves, and we're not entitled to anything, basically what he said.
So is he saying kind of like it's a feeling that you're making yourself feel, and like you can feel better if you want to, and nobody's supposed to make you happy?
No, like entitlement is like feeling good all the time, and feeling good all the time isn't necessarily good for you, because the pain also teaches you a lot.
I can see why that can be.
In whatever aspect of life you want to take up, he told me the hardest decision to take is usually the right one.
Damn, that was deep. Say that to the camera.
I forget, but the hardest decisions in life are the right ones, because you're not entitled to being happy. You're not
always going to be happy.
Yeah, you're not always going to be happy. There are times where you're just going to feel so much pain that it's going to hurt a lot. I can reference it back to the gym. If you work really hard, then your body's going to feel it. You're going to grow a lot.
Yeah.
But if you take it easy all the time and half-ass it like I was, then you really won't get the results you want. Same thing as with in your relationships.
Yeah, and I feel like that, how do you say it? That logic or that ideal goes with like along with anything, you know. For example, if you don't put in with the work to record the podcast, to get guests on, to make reels and like, you know, like put yourself out there, then it's never gonna grow.
He was saying entitlement looks like LeBron James walking off the court whenever there was, I think, a few minutes on the clock or a few seconds.
Wait, you said entitlement?
Yeah, entitlement.
Okay.
Because entitlement covers a lot of aspects. We were referencing back to the point where MJ, like Michael Jordan, didn't feel entitled to anything in any game. He felt like he always had to prove something, earn something. Entitlement is feeling like you deserve something.
Oh, even though you might have not worked for it.
Even if you might have not worked for it. And the greatest players in history, they don't ever feel entitled.
Damn, that's crazy.
I hadn't even thought about it like that.
Yeah, because you're not entitled to feel happy.
Mm-hmm. You're not.
It's something that you have to earn. It's something.
Just like everything else, you're entitled to nothing.
Damn, that's deep.
Yeah, every aspect of life. I can recall, like, whenever on Christmas, I remember I used to get mad because I got the Walmart sweater and some deodorant for Christmas when I wanted the new PS4.
You talking about like the X Pack?
Yeah, the Axe Pack. That it was
I think it was. I
that's
got the chocolate one, and then you got like the blue one or something. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
And we probably used to just smell like cheap cologne.
For real.
So it took me back to the moment where I'm like, well, I am not entitled to anything. That taught me a lot. That moment where I received probably a gift that was less than $50 changed my life to where I told myself, man, I'm going to work hard so I don't get shitty gifts every Christmas.
Or you can buy your own gift.
Yeah, or I can start buying my own gifts.
Yeah.
Entitled people, or whenever you feel entitled in whatever moment in life, you start losing out of something too. Because every day there's something to learn. Every day there's something to adapt.
Do you think that relates to being comfortable? Like when you're entitled, you're comfortable to like that feeling, or entitled to like a position or something like that?
Yeah, it could be referenced back to comfort. For example, like if someone were to be rich their whole life, you get what I like that?
Yeah. And so like they're like, oh, I'm rich, or like you grew up that way, right? So maybe you don't know. I feel like it also ties into like you feel entitled and you might not know it, you know?
Yeah, until you see something that's worse than the position that you are.
Yeah, exactly. And then it makes you realize, like, damn. I feel like you get to a certain point where you can be like, damn, like I have all these things. And maybe that person isn't as fortunate as I am, you know?
But it takes recognition too.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, sometimes I feel like maybe somebody may not see that. Because, like, what if, like I said, like you said, somebody that grows up rich, they never realize that entitlement? They have that entitlement, or they don't see that they're lucky to be in that position?
Yeah, because you're just surrounded by that every day, that it's just normal to you.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, I've always thought about celebrities' kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm just saying, like, the normality of it. Just imagine, like, your dad was famous.
Okay.
He's just dad to you. You know? Like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? He's the one that gets home and, like, he tells you what to do. He tells you to do your homework, do your chores. You know? Like, it becomes, like, something that normal.
And at that point, your dad has to be good at teaching you to make you not feel entitled, because a lot of sports players, they're like great sport players, they weren't in the position they are today. And so therefore, I wonder even if they want to teach their kids like not feeling entitled.
Because I feel like as you grow older now, right, you feel like maybe your parents did when they were raising you. Like, I'm going to work my ass off so my kid doesn't have to go through what I went through, you know? And so, like, maybe...
Yeah. At the same time, you could do damage to someone like that.
Yeah, I know you've seen that graph that's like, what was it, like, the son of this person was rich, the son of their son was rich, and then it keeps going, and then to like the person who has money, the person who has money's son or kid doesn't have money.
You're talking about the legacy where my I will drive a Bugatti, my son will drive a Bugatti, his son will drive a Mercedes, the other guy will drive a Toyota, the next generation, and the last generation will be poor because they just keep on getting consecutively poor.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
After every generation. I can see that even the greatest fathers throughout history, their sons,
they fail their sons or their kids.
Yeah, the sons' decisions weren't the same, the ones that their fathers took. Maybe it was that sense of entitlement. It touches a lot of aspects because you lose out of life whenever you don't suffer.
Yeah. And like it's crazy is that it goes back to what you said, like that entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
Entitlement of being happy. Sometimes you have to earn your happy. Or what you said, like you said, like entitlement of being happy, it's not something that you're always going to have. Or it's not your right to have. It's not something that's just going to be given to you. You're just not going to be happy all the time. So
for us to be happy, for example, it's taken a lot. It's taken a whole bunch of hours of work every day, and it continues to. Tomorrow, the possibility of all it being here or all being gone could be like that. Every day I try to be more grateful about what we have and where we're going. Be generous with it. Whenever I hear about people sleeping in their cars, I'm like, wow, I'm really grateful I'm here and not sleeping in a car.
Yeah, you're like, I've never had to sleep in a car. Or I've never had to go crash at somebody's place because I don't have a crib or something like that.
Yeah. Thankfully, we haven't gotten that low. Like, we've earned it too. We've earned our leisure. We've earned what we've had. We still keep on earning it every day because tomorrow we don't know if we'll have it.
Yeah. And I feel like it's good to be grateful for what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a little bit, because somebody might have it worse. You know what
comes into my head? I just think about my inception, me being brought to this world.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I'm grateful that I was born with good health. I am capable of being able to speak, to see, to hear, to walk.
To run, to work out. Yeah,
to work out. My insecurities wash away whenever I think about that. And even every day, the quote of El que Dios madruga, Dios ayuda. Because the earlier you wake up, the more God will help you.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I'm not entitled to anything. I have to get up early and earn it.
Yeah, because you always have to grind for it. For example, like us, sometimes we have to take people somewhere. We have to get up like mad early, 4 a.m., drive an hour to go pick some people up, go drop them off. And you never know when that drop off is going to be. So, like, doing those things is like, this kind of sucks, I want to keep sleeping. But I always think about, like, I'm grateful to be here. These people are the reason that we're here. Things like that,
Yeah.
And even when I haven't been given anything, I like to be thankful for, like you said, where I'm at. I have health. And it's crazy that you bring that up, yeah, because you ever notice that when, like, you get an infection, a throat infection, you can't drink or eat,
Yeah.
or like you cut your lip and it hurts to eat, and you're like, damn. Or like when your nose gets clogged, you're like, damn. I remember when I could breathe, or I remember when I could do this, right? And it's nothing that's gonna last too long, but you think about it for a little bit.
Oh, I have too. I didn't think you thought about that.
Yeah, and then it goes away, and then you're like, all right, bet. And then you just forget it. Forget that you can do all these things and be grateful for them.
Grateful of being able to recover for sure, because diabetic people, if they get a cut, they could lose that finger if they don't get help. And yet your body, if you're healthy, a cut won't do anything to you. It's the little things in life. And I mean, even this conversation is making me feel good, because
you lose some things, but I feel like you can definitely find your happiness in being grateful for what you have instead of focusing on what you don't have now. You know, because like you said, you're not entitled to happiness. You might be happy today and not be happy tomorrow, but look at what you have.
and earning it feels good too.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes stepping back and just looking at everything, it gives you energy again to keep going. Sometimes I might work till 8 or till 10 at night, have to sleep a few hours. But at the end of the week, I feel great, because I've moved forward. I've accomplished a lot. I've given it my all. So therefore, I feel good. I feel great.
You feel fulfillment that you did all these things, and
For me, at least, that's how I feel. Because my purpose is for us to grow as entrepreneurs, as
leaders.
never want to be in the same position we were again. I think about generational wealth and all that, the well-being of a legacy. So therefore, I have to take what I have now and multiply it by 100.
It's very interesting that you talk about it a lot, because I feel like even though you're 2 years age difference, those 2 years definitely did a lot for you, because you experienced that, and like it's so vivid in your head, you know,
About
like
what?
having to like struggle.
Oh, that chapter,
Yeah.
or that section in the life.
Yeah, and so like I feel like, you know, those 2 years, like imagine if we would have been twins, right? We would have like probably gone to same work at the same place, or like, you know, try to like maybe around the same job, paying the same job, like maybe work at a fast food place or something like that, right? You had to do that for a couple of years, you know, before we had to start working for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And then like when I got to that point, I was kind of like brought on to, I still had to work,
Yeah.
but like it was kind of like our thing. You know, it wasn't so much like pressure of somebody above me or like something like that, you know? Obviously, I still had to work in the warehouse, you know, moving rugs and stuff like that. But I feel like you definitely saw it more, and like it's more impactful to you because you witnessed it more than I did.
I had a lot of feelings when I had pain. I would feel it a lot more, to the point where I would like cry. When I was smaller, I was like, man, I would think about it back and forth. How can we make money? Why don't we have money? Why can't I get McDonald's every weekend? I would go back and forth through it in my head. to the point where in school too, I told myself, what am I going to do? Am I going to become an engineer? Am I going to become a doctor? What is the purpose of life even? Because I wasn't even thinking about money either. I wanted to be happy, fulfilled, but I knew I wasn't happy because I was suffering.
I feel like it's like what's it like a double-sided sword, or however the saying goes, a two-edged sword, double-bladed sword, something like that.
Why do you say that?
Because I feel like feeling that when you're in high school, there's maybe a lot of people that do feel that,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe there's also a lot of people that don't feel that. They're just like, oh, I'm gonna just get through high school, see where it goes. You know, they're not really thinking about that.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody that is thinking about that, it stresses them out even more.
Yes.
And it grabs you, and that's all you could think about.
Even how society feels today, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain. You comparing yourself to someone else right now, or we went through it in high school, through middle school. It was painful because you wanted to be them for some reason. And I didn't take the step back to appreciate who I was. Even whenever we start the conversation of comparison, we're two different individuals. We cannot be the same, ever. And the sadness is there about that today because there is so much media today. So I can see how much pain there is.
What do you mean by pain?
It's the same pain that I felt when I was in middle school.
But
And
maybe it wasn't put out so much into the world, is what you're saying?
I think it pain passes through evolutions depending on the area you're at.
Okay.
And it's just going to continue to ever evolve.
You mean like phases, or?
It goes through an evolution. Or whenever people were cavemen, they used to suffer or have pain because of the dinosaurs or something.
The suffering like evolves like with its own time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, going back to entitlement, not being entitled to money. Whenever we were younger, we didn't get an allowance. We had to just do the chores, which was expected to us. That taught us a lot of hard work.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, to just do chores. Not having money made me think a lot about what I wanted to do in my life. Like, really young. That's all I thought about. I wanted to have fun, actually, in sports. But I always told myself, I'm like, am I wasting my time running around here and not making money whenever I could be working at a Burger King or running pizzas? I've always had the ambition or the need to want us to be good, our family to be okay. If we weren't okay, I wasn't okay.
Yeah, so you saw at an early age that maybe we'd be better off if we'd have more money.
I always thought about the togetherness we would have. Because Dad used to go on his work trips that were, maybe he'd be out for a month. Mom used to be alone. I thought about a lot of my mom being alone at the house. I never wanted her to be alone because being alone also brings on pain. I used to go through so many emotions when I was younger.
Damn, that's crazy. I mean, when I was young, I feel like I would just kind of go through my own shit. Because, like, I remember when I was, like, around 12, I would have trouble sleeping. Like, I couldn't sleep. I don't know why. It was just, like, a thing. I couldn't sleep. You know? And so, like, I wasn't too worried about how others felt. You know, like you saying about Mom being alone when my dad, like, would leave. Like, I would notice that, you know, he'd be gone for, like, months at a time,
Yeah.
weeks. And then he'd come back, but I never thought like, oh snap, mom is alone, you know? Maybe because I was young,
Yeah, that's
but
I think 2 3 year gap makes us see the world differently.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Cause for those couple years that you had to like work, while in the future we were gonna get this opportunity, you know, when the opportunity was there, that's when I like kind of came into like the working phase. Like I remember like 16, 17, going into the warehouse, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. And then eventually we started doing our thing. But definitely, I feel like those couple of years makes us see the world differently.
But even now, I try to. I've always said I wanted to be a good big brother,
Mm-hmm.
but show it through example. If I have to work 12 hours or 10 hours, doesn't matter how many hours I have to work. In order for us to have a legacy, like, I'll do that. I don't think. I'm really grateful, anyways, that I'm here, that I get to wake up with a lot more privileges than I had 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Heck, I never thought I'd be here. But we're not here by accident either.
I always think about that.
In this entitlement, you can say, is meant to be shared, meant to be offered. Money's a weird thing because I used to want it more, and I still want it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but like now you see it in the way that like the more you like you try to grab onto money, like it kind of like slips out, you know, and then the more you share, the more it comes back to you.
Yeah, for some odd reason, whenever you start making, what's not odd.
Maybe you just didn't know.
Yeah, maybe we just didn't know, but the way that I thought about money is every day it's evolving. But one of the biggest reasons I used to want it, it's because, hey, with money, my family will be more together. We will have to be separated less. I will enjoy more time with them. So therefore, money was a way of contributing more time to me, allowing me more time. And me noticing that, I'm like, well, I want to make other families feel like that. I want others to feel the joy that they can have. If that's where I have to put some money in.
You feel like that's your mission now?
I feel like that's my contribution to the world, to be generous. That same kid I was before, poor kid with dreams. We're poor. We're just broke. Poor is a different level, but broke. We're broke kids with dreams. I want to be a big brother to the new generation that's going to come after me, way after me, because we're not here for too long anyway.
Yeah, and like I also feel like though you have to like select kind of like the people you're going to be a big brother to.
Yeah.
You know, or we could do it through the podcast by maybe sharing some knowledge or some experiences to younger kids. But I feel like it's a big ask. You trying to be a big brother for the whole generation of kids coming up. Unless it's by teaching or by advice. Something along those lines, you know. Because if we're talking money-wise, I feel like it's a big ask.
Yeah. I mean, contribution can be, I feel, Put in a lot of ways, whether that's through knowledge. Advice would be in the same category, I guess. Financially, helping them something to help their soul. I don't know. Whatever contribution could be, I think, a lot of things.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So, but yeah, I feel since I wasn't entitled to feeling happy at an early age, it was all for a reason. It was all for me to feel out that pain, feel out that numbness, think what I was thinking that hurt me at the moment, to where now I'm grateful that I was thinking about those things, because in some weird way it all connects back to where we're at now.
Yeah, because right now that you're feeling that empty void that you're feeling or whatever, you can kind of think back to that moment where you felt like that earlier in life. You look at it like, well, I learned something from it, or I grew out of it, or it made me a stronger person. It made you whatever. So I feel like it was good that we talked about this, because that loneliness that you said at the beginning that you were feeling, maybe it's for a reason. And like you said, you don't have that entitlement to be happy. But it was because you went through the things that you went through earlier in life that it doesn't seem so bad, if you don't focus on that.
Yeah, even this conversation, since I started it to where we started it to where we're at now, I'm like, hey, actually just even talking about how we were a few years back, it makes me just grateful of being here. Like I told you, I don't want to be a big brother to you, but I want to be a big brother to kids that have a dream or that aspire to help their families, because the same way that I helped my family, I want others to learn how to help their family.
Okay. Pass the torch.
Pass the fire around. That same fire of wanting to contribute, wanting to make the world a better place. I feel helped me while I was growing up. So if I could if we could start passing on something to a younger generation, to anyone that's just listening to this, to feel out that pain and use it for good, like Batman.
So if you're hearing this and if you've stayed until this part, you can relate to Mario here.
And to you too. What you mean?
Well, you're the one that's feeling the void right now. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But you felt it too.
No, but like I know you can relate to us. Maybe Mario right now, but and be grateful. I feel like that was a pretty strong subject in our conversation today.
Yeah.
Being grateful, and maybe don't focus on the bad so much, or the negative, or that, focus on the things that you do have. And it could be worse. Maybe reflect on the situation where you've had to grow from. You had to learn something.
As a good lesson.
Yeah.
Because they'll continue happening.
And like, so what was it, Sylvester Stallone?
What do you say?
It doesn't matter if you get knocked down. It only matters. No, it doesn't matter how hard you get hit or something. It only matters if you get up and keep going.
And keep moving forward. Yeah. That's how winning is done.
Yeah. Hey, you've heard it.
So, yeah. So, hey, guys, thank you for staying this long. Thank you for listening to my depressive mood, but it got a lot better to the end. But, I mean, just be grateful for what you have.
Don't be afraid to be yourself.
yeah, don't be afraid to really be yourself. Through high school, I was really reserved. I went through a lot of things. But hey, now it just boosts me. It helps me. And if you're feeling the same way, hey, man, it'll be okay. Tomorrow will be better. Be grateful you get to wake up, and make sure y'all tune into the next episode.
And dress how you want. You feel good.
Is that how you got over it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, hey, maybe some swagger will change up the way that you feel about yourself. But, hey, at the same time, you're great. Be grateful. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for staying this long. And
like, comment, subscribe.